I can't believe how big the Tony Hinchcliffe stuff got. Like, him doing the rally and the making, doing comedy at the rally, which is comedy. He's a comedian, and then people just, I don't know, man. It's like, look, I'm a comedian, and I'm always like, yo, comedians should always make jokes, and they should be able to say whatever they want as jokes, even if you don't agree with it or you don't think it's funny. If they think it's funny, and they're the comedian, and they said it, and it just didn't hit for you, then okay, right? And then you're like, well, okay, in a comedy club for sure. And then you think about like, okay, well, at a wedding, if you do comedy in between speeches, that might rub some of the people the wrong way. And then you're like, well, if you're a comedian, though, you might be like, well, but he's a comedian, and it's funny, and he was making a joke, and yeah, maybe he brought up an ex, and that's annoying, and he shouldn't have, but it's still funny, whatever. But you're still in a room that sort of doesn't, it lends itself to maybe a comedic monologue, but it's not a comedy club, And then at the rally, you have people that are there not for comedy. Now, that doesn't mean that a comedian can't come up and do comedy. I appreciate it. Like, I enjoy the fact that they had a comedian on the rally, and I enjoy the fact that they had Tony Hinchcliffe. And then he says what he says, and he's obviously joking because he's a comedian, but there will be people in the audience where they're like, nah, but fuck that though, kill them all. You know what I mean? So like, it's not, it bumps up onto this weird discussion where it's like, yeah, that's not Tony's fault. And then people are like, well, he has a responsibility, more of a responsibility than, but it's like, dude, then I go back to, if you say Puerto Rico's a bunch of garbage, a garbage pile, there are going to be some Puerto Ricans that are mad at that, and then there's going to be people that aren't Puerto Rican that are mad at that, and there's going to be Puerto Ricans that are going to be like, oh, yeah, that's actually funny, who cares? But it's like, the question is, I guess the question is it okay to do comedy in all situations? And I think it is, but then it's like, this shit happens, and that sucks, dude. Look, Tony's built for it. He's willing to go through that stuff, and that's, look, he's a roast comic, and that's, what is it called? Controversy is gonna help him sell tickets. So in essence, for that reason, it's a good thing. It's just so weird too, because like, he's doing the comedy for the people in that room, and also it's being on viewed after that or live to people that aren't in that room that hate. So they're like, oh, so it's kind of for them too, even though you got to kill in the room. So he's got to kill in the room. He's doing jokes that look, dude, the dude's been on vacation in Puerto Rico. He doesn't think Puerto Rico's a bunch of garbage. He likes Puerto Rico. He's just making a joke. So he also has to be responsible for everything that everyone else thinks. You know what I'm saying? It's a weird, tricky game, dude. Like, how about, we're all sick of certain stereotypes and shit. And like, he said the thing about Hispanics don't pull out and come inside just like they do to our country, which is obviously a joke. It's written like a joke. And, if you don't think that's funny and you take offense to that, then it's just like, I don't know, maybe that's on you. Like, what is it that you're perpetuating? A stereotype is what their argument is. So then, I don't know. It's not his, it seems like to me like it's not his fault. It'd be one thing if he was up there saying, fuck these people, fuck that people. And I know the comedy isn't made, like, I don't think comedy should be something you do to get in trouble. So if you're, you know, if you make a movie to where the goal is to be as bloody as possible, it's like, yeah, but the movie's not good. You're just doing it. It's gratuitous, right? So if you're a comic and you're just trying to get in trouble, which I'm not saying that's what Tony's doing. I don't think he is. Maybe he is. I have no idea. But like, it's just like I think he's trying to be funny the whole time. And some of those things are going to miss for certain people always. So it's like, I mean, I even saw Sebastian Maniscalco, who's like one of the most user-friendly comics, be like, somebody said, yo, you shouldn't make fun of that. And he says, okay, well, I've actually said this too online before. And then I saw Sebastian say it too. I was just like, he's like, okay, well, I'll just check with you on everything that I do. And it's like, yeah, well, that's a great point. Like, you can't do that. So you just got to do what you think is funny. Whatever. I'm not saying anything new that nobody's ever fucking thought of, but it's just so, it's like this conversation keeps coming up. And I think it's all probably at this point good for Tony, because I think it'll just sell more tickets. The comic in me wants to be like, fuck it. And then it's like, I don't know. I think if I were in trouble for something like that, which I have been in the past of saying certain things, like, my attitude would be like, yeah, sometimes you say shit and it doesn't work for certain people. I hope that you're not that much of a Nimrod to make that want you to go out and spread hate. And if that, what I said makes you, whoops. What I can tell you is that what Tony did was not worse than the Dwayne Wade statue.